Well, Joy, in this video we're going to create an assembly group and look at a nifty technique to efficiently modify an assembly using an assembly group. Okay, so let's go to the front of our castle here and we can start dragging in blocks here, and maybe we'll create an axial line between this peg and this peg, between this peg and this peg. And we could create a planar line between the top face of this block and the top face of this block. We'll fast forward where we're repeating assembly techniques covered in earlier videos, but slow things down for new techniques. If you're looking for specific info, you can skip to the chapter you want below. One other way to insert a part into Solid Edge is to drag it in from the File Explorer. So in this case we have part number 9, and I'm just going to drag it in from the File Explorer into the assembly in Solid Edge, and Flash Fit gets automatically activated. So we can choose this peg here, this peg, and this peg. And I could try and choose the bottom face of this part, but it's going to be difficult because it's so close to the top face of the other part. So instead I'm going to choose the top face of this part and the top face of the part beside it. That brings them in line, and we can keep dragging parts in like that now. We can repeat the same technique we've been using to copy 2 rows of blocks using the bottom of this peg as a base point, copying them to the bottom of this peg. We'll search for relationships with blocks below and beside the copied blocks and add a 2x2 block to fill in the gap. Once we have the 2x2 block fully constrained, we can copy 2 rows of blocks, including the 2x2 block, using the same technique, and search for relationships with the blocks below the copied parts. So those selected parts, 3 of them are fully constrained and 2 of them aren't fully constrained. So let's investigate these 2. So I click on that, and if I click on drag component, okay, so those 2 there are not constrained vertically. So I'm going to choose Flash Fit, hover around here to pick up on the bottom face of the part, right click for quick pick, choose the bottom face, and choose the top face of the part below. Press escape, click on that part. Yes, they're now fully constrained within the assembly. So we can copy these 2 parts as well. So I can click on that, press the space bar, add that part to the select set, click on the center of the steering wheel, maybe move it to the corner of this block here. Click, press Control, click on this vertical arrow and copy the parts up to there. We're going to replace it with our components where possible. Click OK. And we're going to search for relationships to those 2 parts, this part and this part. Click Accept and Delete. And those 2 parts are now fully constrained within the assembly. Maybe we want to add this part. Okay, so I'm going to click on this part, choose Open, and we can press Ctrl and Tab to move between the different open documents. Now we're in the parts library. We have the open document selected. We have that 3x1 block opened. I'm just going to click in here, press F5 to refresh, and that part becomes available for me to select. So I drag that now into our assembly. I'm going to click on the cylinder here of this peg, and this peg, this peg, and this peg. I'm going to hover over to kind of pick up on the bottom face of this part. So I right click for quick pick. Oh, I chose the wrong one, so I press escape. Okay, so I'm going to choose Flash Fit, hover around and try to pick up on the bottom face of this part. So I hover, right click for quick pick, choose the bottom face and the top face of this part. They go together, and I go choose select, click on this part. It's fully constrained within the assembly, so I can click on the center of the steering wheel, choose move it to the center of this peg, press Control, click on this arrow, and we'll copy a part across to the center of the peg here. We're going to replace other components where possible. Click OK, choose the part below and the part beside, click Accept, and that part is fully constrained. So next I'm going to copy this part. So I click on it, move the steering wheel to this peg, press Shift, click on this blue disc, and Shift, click on the disc again. I'm going to actually move that steering wheel, we want our base point to be down here rather than up here. So I'm going to press Shift, click on the center of our steering wheel, and now it's moving. It has maintained its direction, but it's moving. And we're hovering around for the base of this peg. So I click there, and it looks like I didn't get the base of it, I got the top of it. And that's actually okay, but maybe I'll just press Shift, click on the center again, and hover down. Instead of looking in, I'm going to try looking out because we won't be picking up on anything on the base plate. And again, I'm going in here, and that looks good. So I'm going to click there, and now I'm just going to change the orientation to see, yeah, that looks like it's level with the top face of the part. So I'm going to press Control, click on this blue disc, and copy the part to the base of this peg. Click there, replace the other components where possible, click OK, and choose the two parts below it, and click Accept. That part is fully constrained within our assembly. I'm going to add in this 2x1 block here, create an axial align between this peg and this peg, hover over, right click for quick pick, choose the bottom face of the part, the top face of this part, and maybe we'll create a planar align between these faces. That's all fully constrained. We'll be adding maybe a walkway along here, so we'll be using something to fill the gap later, so I'm just going to leave that for now. And I'm going to add in another 2x1 block here. Again, another axial align between these pegs, and maybe I'll choose the bottom face of this part and the top face of this part, and now get the axial align between these pegs. Looks good. So we want to use this part, so maybe I'll open that. Just click on it and choose Open. Go back to the assembly, go to the parts library within the assembly, F5 for refresh, and now we can drag that part in. And again, we can create an axial align between the pegs here, and if I click on the bottom face of the part and the top face of this part, they come together. And if I choose maybe this face and this face, that might create a planar align using Flash Fit, and that looks good. Alright, so maybe we can drag in this 2x1 here, and we can create a relationship between the pegs here and these pegs, and hover for the bottom face of this part and the top face of this part. We could open part number 3. Oh, there, actually we have it here in this block here, so I'm just going to open that. Again, refresh the parts library and drag that part into the assembly. Create an axial align between that peg and Flash Fit between the bottom face of this part and the top face of this part, and a planar align between the faces of these parts. And now that we've done that much, we can probably copy this part across. So I'd click on it, move the steering wheel to this peg, press Control, click on this arrow, and copy it across to this peg. And we're going to replace the other components where possible. Click OK, and choose this part and this part, click Accept. So I'm going to click on this part, move this, click on the center of the steering wheel and move it down to the bottom corner of the part. Press Control, click on the vertical arrow, copy it up to this corner here of the part, and now replace the other components where possible. Click OK, choose the part underneath, the part beside, click Accept. And that part is now fully constrained within the assembly. So next, we could maybe use one of these parts. So I'm going to click on it, click on the center of the steering wheel, move it down to here. Just take a look. Yeah, it's not quite where I want it. So I'm going to click on the center of the steering wheel again and click again. And that looks like it's level with the bottom of our part, located around the peg below it. So I'm going to press Shift, click on the blue disc around the steering wheel, and that moves it 90 degrees. I press Shift, click on the blue disc again, and now it's flipped another 90 degrees. That's where I want it now. And it's not actually quite where I want it. It's underneath this peg. I want it underneath this peg. I want it on this peg here. So I'm going to click on the center of the steering wheel, move it across to this peg here. Now it's where I want it. I press Shift, click on this blue disc, it flips 90 degrees, Shift and click on the blue disc again, it flips another 90, press Control, click on the blue disc, and now it's copied in the plane of the blue disc. And I'm going to copy it to the peg here. We can actually do it. So we can do it to the center of the peg here. So you can see just this little line here where the peg is at the same level as the top face of the block. So I'm just going to aim for there, click there, and we're going to repair unsatisfied relationships, replace the other components where possible, click OK, and I'm going to choose the 4 parts below it, click accept and delete. And we can take a look here. Yes, so our part isn't fully constrained, so I click on it. We have 2 axial lines, no planar line, no mate. So if I try to drag that part, click OK. We're using a freeform move, so if I try to drag it, it's not vertically constrained. So we can choose flash fit, choose the bottom face of the part and the top face of this part. And now that part is fully constrained within the assembly. Okay, so next maybe we could copy these 2 parts here. So I click on one, press the space bar, click on the other, click on the center of the steering wheel, and I'm going to move it to the base of the peg there. Press shift, click on the blue disc, and it flips 90 degrees. It's now in the orientation I want it. So I press control, click on the blue disc. So now we're copying them in the plane of the blue disc from that base point we selected for our steering wheel. And we're going to paste them up to this point up here, the base of these pegs. Click up here. We're going to repair unsatisfied relationships, replace the other components where possible, click OK, and I'm going to choose the block underneath it here, click accept and delete. And now those 2 parts are fully constrained within the assembly, so we could fill in this gap here as well with this 2x2 block. We can drag that in and we can create axial lines between the pegs, and we can fish for a planar line or a mate actually between the bottom face of this part. So I right click for quick pick, choose the bottom face and the top face of this part, and it goes into place and it's fully constrained. And we can fill in this gap here. So I'm going to pull in a 2x1 and maybe fish for the bottom face of this part, right click for quick pick and choose the bottom face and the top face of this part, and we can try and create axial lines between this peg and this peg, this peg and this peg. Now that part is fully constrained, that looks good. And next maybe we could copy this block. So I'm going to click on that block to select it, click on the center of the steering wheel, and we're going to move the base point to fishing around. I click here to get the center of that peg, and it's level with the bottom of this block, the top of this block, which is perfect. And I'm going to press shift, click on the blue disc of the steering wheel, and shift and click on the blue disc of the steering wheel again. It's flipped around the way we want it. I press control, click on the blue disc of the steering wheel and copy it up to the base point of this peg here, bottom edge of the peg here. I'm just fishing around for that, and it's not really happening easily, so I try from the other side. I'm just zooming in, moving around where it roughly should be. And you can see the preview, you can see that it's not quite right there. It's gone a little bit too low, so I kind of go up slightly. And that looks correct. So I'm going to click there, and we're going to repair unsatisfied relationships, replace the other components where possible, click OK, and choose the blocks below it, and click accept and delete. And if we take a look at the block here, it's fully constrained. It has 2 axial lines and a mate. It looks perfect. And I'm looking now actually, and I'm thinking we kind of missed an opportunity there, because it would be nice to have a kind of a walkway between this tower along the top of over our gateway. And we kind of can't do that because there's a difference in height between these blocks, and it just makes everything a little bit messy and a little bit complicated. So how can we fix that? Well, for starters, maybe let's hide all of these blocks above our level just to get them out of the way. So I'm going to click on this block, press the space bar. Now we're into part add remove mode. So I click on all of the parts here. In fact, I can even rotate around and window select some parts. And now try to make sure everything is selected. So that's all of those parts there, and we can see them selected here in our Pathfinder. And I'm just going to right click on one of those, and I'm going to choose group. And now we see down here we have assembly group 1, and as I hover over that, you can see all of the parts selected. And maybe we'll just rename that. So I'm just going to right click, choose rename, and I'm just going to call it gate arch. Okay, hit enter, and Now I'm going to hide them parts. These assembly groups are really useful ways of tidying up assemblies, especially large assemblies where there aren't that many sub-assemblies. Sub-assemblies are kind of ideal. Another helpful way is to use assembly groups. Maybe we'll make a little walkway here, and if we make a walkway there, that will boost up everything in the wall and it'll keep both walls in sync, and we'll be able to tie in everything together. So let's see how that goes. We can drag in these 3x2 by 1/3 plates and create assembly relationships between these pegs and these pegs, and maybe between the top face of this plate and the top face of this plate. And I can click on that part, move the steering wheel to this peg. Oh, I'll just try again. Click on the center of the steering wheel, move it to the center of the peg, press Control, click on the arrow and copy it to the center of the next peg. And we're going to replace the other components where possible. Click OK, click on the block underneath, click on the block beside, click Accept, and that part is fully constrained. And we can do the same again. Press Control, click on this arrow, copy it across. Oh, click on Control, click on this arrow, and we're moving across to the center of this peg. Click there. We're going to replace the other components where possible. Click OK. Choose the block below it, choose a block at the same level, click Accept, and that part is now fully constrained. So now that we have those in, we can have a look again at our gate arch assembly group 1. So I'm going to show that, and you can see we have kind of interference between these blocks we put in and the blocks of the arch. So I'm just going to click on this arch assembly, choose Select Components. So now all parts of that group have been selected. I'm going to click on the center of the steering wheel and move it down to the bottom corner of the group of parts, so the lowest corner of the group of parts. I'm not going to press Control this time, I'm just going to click on the vertical arrow. So now we're moving all parts in that group together, and instead of them being level with the bottom of this part, I'm going to click on the top of this part here, top corner here, and click there. And now we're going to replace the other components where possible. So I click OK. If we look at our prompt bar, select the components to find relationships to. So I'm going to choose each of these parts below and click Accept and Delete. So all of those parts are now selected, and it's not so easy to see because they're all within this gate arch assembly group. So I'm going to click on this arrow to expand that group, and we see most of the parts are fully constrained, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4 parts that aren't. So we can kind of fix those up manually. So I press Escape, select the first part that isn't fully constrained, so we can see it here. And I'm going to choose Drag Component, click OK, and just drag that part, and we see it can move vertically. So that's okay, we can just fix that manually. So I'm going to choose the Mate command, choose the bottom face of that part, and choose the top face of this part. So that brings that part fully constrained, and it actually constrains the other parts within that group as well. So they're all fully constrained now. In our next video, we'll use the Replace Part with Part Copy command to replace the front tower subassembly with an exact copy, so we can edit the new copied subassembly without changing the other tower subassembly. We'll use the Edit command to edit a subassembly within the assembly environment. We'll also use the Edit command to edit a part within the assembly environment. Talk to you in the next one, Joey.